Gaffer, 3 points and a clean sheet on the road. You must be really pleased with what you saw today.
Really pleased. I thought we were strong throughout the game. I think there was an emphasis, training during the week on trying to get control of the game with our possession, making sure that we were dangerous with it, but we were being patient, we were calm, we were switching the play when necessary, and I think we did that really well today, and I think that was huge in the way we controlled that match against a team that good on set pieces, are good on counter-attacks, the direct play, so it helped us manage the game really well away from home. So it was a really good win, but a very good performance as well.
When you come away from home in the Championship, first of all you have to stand up to the challenge of the opposition before imposing yourself. Did you feel like we did both elements of the game really well today?
We did. I think the very first, whether it's 2 or 3 minutes, I think they broke up the pitch on 2 occasions, which is not ideal, but gets the crowd up a little bit, but it didn't culminate in any chance really on goal, but it was a bit of a threat, and I think that probably livened us up a little bit, and then we started to work the ball well, switch the play well, and they sank back into a bit of a block, and it was the runs from Osman on the left that was really causing them problem. Kai Wagner trying to feed him, not just to feet but in behind, and it just dropped them back, and it leads to the free kick. So I was really pleased with how they recognised where the space was on that side.
How pleasing was it to get that first goal? Because it's only the third time I think away from home we've done that this season, but it just gives you a foothold in the game.
Well, it does. If you can score first away from home, then and gives you obviously a great chance because you're up, puts pressure on the home team. And we've many times conceded the first goal, in the first half. But just recently, we've looked like a real team. We've picked up some excellent results this calendar year. And like I say, getting the first goal from a set piece really sets us up for the rest of the match.
There's plenty of standout performances there today, but John Solis on his first start, did you want to bring him because it was going to be a bit physical away from home?
Yeah, I think it was. Looking at them, they're fighting for their lives. They are quite a direct team in style of play, a lot of set pieces, so I thought there'll be a lot of duels, a lot of headers, a lot of bouncing balls, and I thought he would be good in there alongside Paik just to show his physicality, but he's not just that, he can play as well. I thought he showed real personality to go and take the ball in pressure situations, when to play one touch, when to stay on the ball, and he knew where the next pass was. I thought he was a very accomplished performance from a midfield player.
And when we got the ball out and through the lines, a word for Ibrahim Osman, who grew into the game, especially sort of the first 15-20 minutes. He could have got in behind, but the ball sort of skidded out of play. But from that point on, he was borderline unplayable at times.
Yeah, I think that was a good example for a winger that he made 2 good runs and the ball skipped out. I think Kai tried to play him in behind, but they were the right run at the right time. It was the right ball, but it just skipped out of play. So the key was to continue to do it, not lose faith in that, because he's so quick off the mark. If he can do that early in games, the defender's going to drop off 5 yards and then he can get the ball to feet and start driving. So I think he played the right kind of match, and his run more from an inverted position gets the ball from Kai for the free kick for the goal. So he gets us up the pitch with that, and then as he gets the ball more to feet, you start to see him later in the game where he can drive inside. And the key with him is the acceleration. He's quick. And a lot of players are quick, but it's how quickly can they accelerate into it. And I think he showed that today, where he can get away from a player. But like Solis, the young players, they're not going to be able to. We'd love them to, but they might not be able to do that every single game, every single minute, because they're still young and they're still developing. But they showcase what they can do today. And like I said, there's more to come from all of them and us as a team. So we need to keep building.
When you're away from home and you're 1-0 up, getting that second goal, as we've seen recently, has been crucial. A word on that second goal. It started with Kai winning the ball over on that far touchline. His first thought is to play forward into Marvin, little combination, and it's a really good finish at the end.
It's outstanding. I think we have to speak about Kai Wagner's performance again. I think in the first half he's up against wing back, so he's having to get a lot of work up and down to try and press out to the wing back. I think he did that well. Pert Harris was on his side, who's been their best player recently, handled him well. Later in the game they go to a 4-4-2, he's having to deal with Plachetto, who's a quick winger. I thought he did all his jobs really well, but the goal comes from him winning a duel, winning a tackle, full-blooded as we've seen from before. Wins the tackle, gets up, passes it, runs, crosses. I mean, if you talk about being a full-back, that's about as good as it gets. Gets the ball into the right area, August holds it well. And then obviously Carlos and Marvin combine, and it's a really nice finish, seeing the gap and hitting it hard and placing it into the goal. So, but Kai's importance in that goal shouldn't be understated.
Carlos coming off the bench for his first appearance as well. Nice for him to get some minutes and get used to the Championship, and August as well. Had a good chance, could have scored at the end there, but really another important cameo from him.
Definitely, I think August, what you have to remember with August is he's not a player that's had a winter break, he's a player that's had a season break, because their season actually finishes and restarts. So in effect he was coming in sort of his first week of pre-season when he joined us. So that's a little bit different to players that have been in Spain who've had their sort of winter break and rejoined again. So August is going to take a little bit of time to get himself physically up to speed again, no doubt, but I thought he came on, he did well, tried to hold the ball. Again, you're sort of seeing the game out at that point, but he had a hand in the goal. Could have scored himself obviously at the end with a good run, so I think it was a really promising display from him as well.
Just finally, I just want to ask you about squad depth. You spoke in the week leading up to the game. The substitutes today, they all came on, all played their part, didn't weaken us in any way, and kept up the intensity and how we want to play. How important is that?
That's huge, yeah. I think we've seen potentially, it'd be fair to say that we've had other games this season where we've maybe got to the last 30 minutes and we haven't quite had that impact coming off the bench, and we've looked maybe a bit jaded, we haven't had that change of gear, that freshness, and it might have cost us in a few games. So we reflected on that in our planning for this window. We wanted to make sure that we had the depth to keep the level high, keep the intensity high, and it was a good example today.
Well done.